To the cloud. Welcome everybody. It's still cold out, so we're still gonna support the body in the cold. So are we starting seated or standing? What do you want
Well, let's start standing.
All
Warm
right.
things up. So we're gonna just stand and bounce a little bit to start things off, just shaking things off. Feel free to get as vigorous as you want to with your bouncing, or you can be very gentle with the bouncing. Whatever your body is asking for today. If you're feeling sort of sluggish, you can do more of a kind of almost like a jumping kind of a bouncing. If you're feeling already like way up in your head and trying to bring it back down, you can spread the feet kind of wide and kind of do this sort of, it's like dropping your hips towards the floor, bouncing. So, or anything else, anything you can think of, and anything you need to shake out anywhere you feel stuck energy, stuck just stiffness or whatever. Move the arms, move the legs, move the hips, the head, anything. Wiggle, twist a little side to side. And then we'll eventually stop bouncing and we actually will start twisting. Twisting side to side. You just let the arms sort of flop around, maybe give you a little pat on the back. If you want to bring more momentum into it and go a little faster, you can. You might find the arms traveling up the body. And then we're going to add in a breathing exercise. So we're going to take the elbows back, take palms out flat like we're skimming water to chest height. And we're going to add a breathing exercise. We're going to inhale as we twist to the right and exhale with a shh as we twist to the left. Continuing that breathing, let's turn the forearms up, making goalpost arms. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Continuing that breathing, let's take the arms out and down at about waist height. And then we're just going to eventually come back to center and just sort of slowly come back to the middle, let the arms flop, and feel free to shake it out.
Bouncing again.
Take off my shoes because I'm flying off my mat with these soft socks on.
So let's do some figure eights in the meantime as well to start warming up the spine. So what this is I'm going to bring one hip forward and around, and then the other hip forward and around. So just back and forth like this, and turning from side to side as you go. The key thing here is just to start to lubricate the spine a little bit. So we're kind of snaking the spine side to side. If you want to add arms in, you can start doing a backstroke here as you do this movement, or whichever way your arms feel the most natural in this flow. And really feel free to draw a big circle with the arms so that you're really getting a full shoulder rotation in here, warming up the shoulder joints, warming up the hip joints, warming up the spine. And then let's come to stillness and just shake it off a bit. You're a little bit dizzy or swimmy after that. And then we'll take the hips the other way. So we're bringing them back and forward, and then the other hip comes forward. So one hip comes forward, and then the other. Just back and forth. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you need to here, doing these little hip bone figure eights. And then if you want to bring the arms in, you can start doing a forward stroke here, if that makes sense. Just do whatever the arms want you to do. Breathing deep. And then when you're ready, we'll shake all that off again. Maybe let's just start doing some stuff with our arms because we'll be coming down and kind of want to get into planking today, so we'll need some arm strength for that. So what have you got in mind? I see your hands ready to do something cool.
We can do some wrist rotations. Take the
Alright.
thumbs into the palms, curl the forefingers around, and just start rotating just at the wrists, letting the arms hang long. Squeezing the thumbs in gives you a little extra juice, a little extra stretch in the forearms. And then let's take the arms out to the side, up overhead. Continuing that rotation down the front of the body. And when you get to the bottom, switch the direction you're rotating the wrists. And now we're going to take them up the front, down the side.
And then once our arms get down to the side, just want you to have your palms to the side here. We're standing in mountain posture. So heart is open. Well, here, we'll just go through mountain posture from the bottom up. So my feet are about hips width distance. I'm going to show you from the side so you can see the subtleties of what my hips are doing here. This is my normal stance, nothing to write home about. But mountain posture, I'm actually going to stick my tail out, tuck the tail to lift the hips, kind of pushing my feet out here. So there's this inward rotation and of the shins and an outward rotation of the thighs when the tail is tucked. From here, my heart comes open, but my ribs come down so that my heart isn't thrusting out too much. Palms come to face out, chin rests parallel to the ground. That's my mountain posture. From here, I'm going to inhale my arms up overhead. You could even look up when they come up. And then exhale, push the hands palm face down, down. Real simple, but we're timing the breathing with the movement here. Inhaling, arms up, palms up. Turn the hands around, exhale, arms down, palms down. You can't really see what my hands are doing here. But as I inhale, palms are up. And then as I exhale, palms are pushing down like the air is heavy, like water. Then from here, let's step the feet pretty wide, maybe wide on your mat, so that my feet are pointed out at sort of 45-degree angles. And I'm going to inhale, same thing, this time coming down into a squat. And then exhale, turn the palms, push down, come back up to standing. Inhale, come down into that squat. Make sure that your knees aren't coming in too much here, that they're really tracking out over your feet. And then exhale, stand.
And if you squat down and your knees are going out past your feet like this, step those feet out wider. You want to keep the knees behind the ankles, or over at the very least right on top of them, but not going past them.
What do you want to do?
So coming up, let's step in about hips width distance, or you could do this with toes touching, whichever you like. We're going to take the arms out into a T. Relax shoulders down the back. We're going to inhale and bend over to one side. Take the arms like you're grabbing a giant beach ball. Exhale back through center. Inhale the other side, reaching tall, grabbing that giant beach ball. Exhaling back to center. So we're just going to go side to side like this. I like to imagine I'm lifting up and then spilling over. So you're not just collapsing to one side. You're reaching tall and long first, and then opening up. Feel the expansion in the ribs as you inhale. And then next time you exhale, let's bring the arms all the way overhead, palms touching. We're going to inhale deeply, and then this time exhale and let yourself fold towards the right. So the left side of the body is getting nice and long here. You can take the right arm and slide it down the right side of the body, pushing into the right hip a little bit as you reach to the right with the left hand. Breathing deep.
And then we'll come back up to standing, arms overhead. This time, inhale deeply, and then exhale, arms point to the left. So you're getting a nice long stretch through the right side of the body here. And then from here, we'll let the left arm come down the left side of the body, maybe even pushing into the left hip a bit to keep yourself folding towards the left. Make sure to keep the left side of the body long if you can here. So to show you from the side, the body is a long line. I'm either coming forward here or reaching back, but just right to the side like this. When you're ready, inhale, both arms up again. Exhale, hands wide, feet are about hips width position. We'll take the hands to the hips. And let's just do little hip rolls for a second. So what does that look like? I'll come up closer. So my feet aren't real wide here. And the hip rolls are just tracing a little small orbit here. It's not like those great big wide hip rolls that we'll do in a minute. We're just kind of warming up the low back. You can see from the side here, my low back is getting warmed up from these hip rolls. And when you're ready, we'll switch the direction. So you can be probably bending one knee and then bending the other here as you do these. Breathing deep.
And then coming back to center. Now let's step it out a little wider. So you can have it feet at about max width distance or however wide is comfortable for you. Now we're going to continue those hip rolls with the feet further apart.
So these you may be finding that your knees stay straight for the movement, but if you need to bend one knee and then bend the other, that's fine too. Makes for kind of a harder movement though.
And when you're ready, switch the direction that you're making that circle. And then we'll just come back to center. Feel free to shake it out.
Oh, I love that.
Bounce it out.
I'm thinking, what else do we need to do to warm up? Maybe just the sun salutation, and then we'll get right into this low back and core strengthening again.
Yes.
Unless there's anything else you want to do standing.
I can't think of anything else at this point.
All right,
Not
well,
for the standing.
let's come to the front of our mats then. We'll go through a couple sun salutations. Let's do Shivananda style today. This is the style we were trained in. However, it was a very long time ago, so we'll see how
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 we
well
remember
we
it.
remember. So I'm gonna bring my big toes to touch.
I'm gonna just have my feet sort of hips width distance parallel. If that's more comfortable for me.
Exactly, either way is fine. From here, we'll inhale the arms wide and up above the head and exhale the palms right down in front of the chest. That's one. And then from here, on your next inhale, hands come down and then sweep up, slight back bend, very slight. Exhale, fold forward all the way, coming down into your forward fold. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. If you have any low back or spine issues, feel free to keep the knees bent as much as you need to keep the spine a little bit long through here. When you're ready, we're gonna inhale and take the right leg all the way to the back of the mat. Exhale, the right knee comes down. And feel free.
Yeah, so I was gonna tell you about, you were gonna say about the pad.
I was gonna say, feel free to breathe as you need to here. But yes, you can totally put that folded up blanket under your right knee. It will make this all the more delicious. And you can see here, my left leg, my left knee is right over my left ankle. We don't want to have our left ankle way behind the right knee like this. Let's protect that right knee. So here we are in our low lunge, breathing normally. When you're ready, we'll inhale, hands to either the knee or up overhead. And just breathe here for a second. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely in your crescent moon stretch. And nice stretch for the front of the right psoas muscle. It's right at the right hip there. And then when you're ready, exhale, hands come down. We'll step the left leg back to meet the right. What is next in the
Coming into plank.
Coming into plank. All right, well, plank is a good place to hang out for a minute. So we're gonna be here for just a second, building some core strength. If you need to bring your knees down, feel free, but let the hips come down a little bit too, so there's a long line between your shoulders and your knees. If your knees are up, same thing, long line between shoulders and this time the heels. You want your heart to come down a little bit, tail be tucked a little bit here, and just breathe deeply. And then when you're ready, let's all bring our knees down on an exhale, the chest and the chin follow.
Hips stay high.
In this little inchworm position. Then when you're ready on your next inhale, we'll come up to just a very, very low cobra here. In fact, you could even put your elbows right under your shoulders. Measure out the distance between the elbows by grabbing for opposite elbows here with your hands. And then bring the hands back, catching your breath. If your name is Anna, pretend you've just been doing planks. So you're trying to remember how to do Shivananda style sun salutations. We'll inhale deeply here, keeping the heart open, shoulders down. Exhale completely. Inhaling deeply, Sphinx. Exhale completely. When you're ready, we'll come all the way down, place the hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes, and lift the hips through tabletop into downward facing dog. You can pedal one heel down and then the other, stretching the back of the hamstrings, maybe bending one knee and then the other, going back and forth. And then because we took the right leg back on the first part of the sun salutation, we'll lift the right leg and bring it forward to the very front of the mat. So my right foot is right between my right and left hands. It's okay if you didn't do that one big fluid step. You can do that in a few steps. That's fine too. When you're ready, exhale the left knee down now. Getting that nice psoas stretch on the other side. And when you're ready, you can either inhale hands to the knee or all the way up for crescent moon on the left side. Breathing deep, keeping the shoulders tracking down the back. And then when you're ready, exhale the hands down to frame either side of the right foot. We'll lift the left knee, inhaling deeply, maybe walking that left foot towards the front to meet the right. Exhale, completely bending the knees as much as you need to keep this forward fold safe for the low back. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale the arms out wide and up, slight back bend. Exhale, hands come down by your side. That's one half of a Shivananda style sun salutation.
Now we got to get your other side.
With embellishments. This time we won't have so many embellishments. You want to do it?
Sure. You like? We'll inhale, reaching up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, palms down to heart center. Inhale, palms reach, or arms reach again up high. Slight back bend. We're going to exhale and fold forward. Feel free to keep your knees as bent as is comfortable for you here. On the next inhale, we're going to step this time the left leg back. And then we can exhale, coming down to that left knee. Feel free to just hang out here, or if you want to go a little further, you can come up to the knee, or you can inhale, sweep the arms all the way up, sinking into that left hip, opening it up, stretching. Exhale, we're going to place the hands back down. We're going to step the right foot back to meet the left foot, coming into plank.
And this time you can either stay in plank, you can bring your knees down for a half plank, or you can join me in the little challenge where I'm bringing my left elbow down, then my right elbow down, then I'm straightening my left elbow and my right. So I'm coming down into what's called, I guess this is technically half plank as well, even though my knees are up. I'll do this a few more times if you like. And then when you're ready, we'll exhale knees, chest, and chin. Coming all the way down. This time, keeping the hands under the shoulders. Let's inhale a little higher in the Cobra. We're going to stay here for a second. So Cobra can be down here like this if you want. Actually, I'll show from the side. So Cobra can be down here like this, just a little bit higher than Sphinx, that's fine. Or it can be higher up. But feel free to walk the hands forward if you do come higher up in the Cobra so that you can keep the curve in the back closer to the thoracic and cervical spine. So in other words, the middle and upper spine as opposed to the lumbar spine. You want to keep the lumbar spine kind of long here. You can kind of see what that feels like by tucking the tail as you're here and relaxing the glutes. If you're clenching, relax them a little bit, see if that makes a difference. And then when you're here, feel free to peek over your left shoulder towards your left foot. And then maybe over your right shoulder towards your right foot. One more look towards the left. And one more look towards the right. And then when you're ready, we'll peel the spine all the way back down again. Put hands on their shoulders. Come through tabletop to lift the hips in the downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal one knee and then the other one. Heel comes towards the mat and then the other.
And then we're going to lift that left leg to the sky. Exhale it down. Let's bring it to the front of the mat. If you need to take a few steps to get it there, that's okay. We're going to exhale coming down onto the right knee. And then you can hang out there, or you can come up, inhaling, coming up to the knee, or sweeping the arms up overhead. And since we did it on the other side, let's take a couple of breaths here. On an exhale, we're going to plant the hands on the ground. We're going to step that back foot up to meet the top foot, coming into a forward fold. Feel free to keep the knees bent. And then we're going to inhale, sweep the arms out, coming up. Arms overhead. And then exhale, arms come down along the side of the body. Coming back to Tadasana.
Very nice. The yoga is working. All right, so at that, we're just going to take it all the way down now. So if you have any particular special way you'd like to come down to the mat, feel free. I'm going to come down through a yoga squat. So if you want to join me in that, you're more than welcome. My feet are about almost mat's width distance. I'll inhale my arms high overhead. Exhale, come all the way down. And then here we are in squat. If squat is really, really hard for you, feel free to sit up on something. It could be on a small stool or a block, or if you have a yoga block or something like that. Or you could just do a half squat here. If you are in a half squat, make sure not to stick the tail out. Yes, tuck the tail like that. If you're in a full squat, make sure
Not to hunch the back.
not to round the shoulders. Yes, keep the spine nice and long here. So we'll breathe deeply in the squat for just a second. And then when you're ready, you can just come down onto your back or onto your tail, and then we'll swing the legs around behind us so we can come to hands and knees for a little cat-cow, further warming up the spine and strengthening the low back. So when you,
Lining, oh, you doing it?
up to you, you can teach it if you want.
Either way. Lining up wrists under ankles.
Oh, and one thing I do want to mention, folded up blanket under the knees is really helpful for these next few poses.
I better get one too.
Just why not? We only have a couple knees, so we like to keep them happy. So when you're ready, we'll inhale, tail comes up, head comes up, belly comes down. Now, if you do have spinal stenosis or any other spinal issues, on your inhale, just keep the spine neutral like this. Then when you're ready to exhale, tuck the tail, tuck the chin, lift the belly. It's like we're pushing the air out of our belly as we round our back into cat. This is appropriate for everybody. no matter what your spinal issue is. Inhaling, belly comes down, tail up, head up, spine straight if you have spinal stenosis. Exhale, tail tucks, chin tucks, belly rounds. Inhaling, exhaling. So just do this at your own pace for a minute. Either inhaling belly down or belly neutral. Exhaling, lifting the belly. Next time you inhale, let's just come to a neutral spine here. We're gonna do thread the needle. You want to teach this one?
Sure. I'll teach you. So let's open up the fingers really wide on the right hand, really rooting into the ground with all the knuckles on the right hand. We're gonna inhale the left arm, turning to the left, reaching up towards the sky. And then on an exhale, we're gonna thread the needle. So that means we're gonna take the left arm underneath the right arm, bringing that left shoulder to the earth. Left ear comes to the earth as well. You can also do this. You can put a block under your head if that's more comfortable for you, or a blanket.
Like
And-
this.
And so we're working on this stretch on the left shoulder. You can just hang out here if you want. If you want a little extra, you can interlace the fingers and try to straighten that top arm. That'll give you a little bit more twist. Another thing to give you more twist if you want it is you can inhale that right arm up to the sky and then exhale it down to the back. Make sure the hip's not popping off to the left or right, and then maybe wind it around and find the outer upper left thigh with that right hand. No matter where you are, just keep breathing deep. And when you're ready, come out of this. If you have your arm all the way wrapped around, you can inhale it back up to the sky. We're gonna exhale the hand down underneath the shoulder. We're gonna press into that right hand to come up. We're gonna turn to the left one more time, reaching that left arm up towards the sky, unwinding the twist. Exhale. And we have done that side. Stretched out that left shoulder. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side now. So this time, spreading the fingers really wide on the left hand, grounding all those knuckles into the earth. We're gonna reach the right arm up towards the right, towards the sky. Exhale, thread the needle, send that right arm underneath of the left arm, right shoulder comes to the earth, right ear comes to the earth. And maybe you're just hanging out here, that's fine. If you want extra, you can bring both hands together, interlace them, and try to straighten that top arm. If you want even more of a twist, you can inhale that left arm up to the sky. Exhale it down to the sacrum. Make sure that the hip's not popping off to the left or right, and then maybe wind it around and find the outer upper right thigh. And then just breathe deep. When you're ready to come out of this, if you have the arm wrapped around, inhale it towards the sky. We're gonna exhale that left arm right down underneath of the left shoulder. Press into it to come up, turn again to the right, reach that right arm up to the sky, unwinding the twist. Exhale, bring that hand down, coming back into tabletop. Good job.
And then from here, let's just look over our left shoulder again. Hi.
You got a visitor.
And then maybe look over the right shoulder again, getting a little twist side to side here. Again, looking over the left shoulder and looking over the right. And then coming back to neutral, let's do a little bit of a low back strengthener. I just learned the name of this. It's called bird dog. Maybe I'm just a little bit too old, but when I hear that, I always think of that song from the 50s. Anyway.
He's a bird dog.
Yeah, you got it. That's neither here nor there. From here, keeping a nice firm foundation, let's just lift the right arm. So I find when I lift the right arm, my weight kind of starts to go towards the left here. So I really want to make sure I'm keeping myself sort of centered because I'm actually going to lift the left leg too. So my left arm, my left arm and my right knee are supporting me. My right arm is making a long line all the way down to my left heel. So I'll hang out here for just a second. Make sure not to let the left hip come down. You really want to lift through the left hip here. And then as carefully as possible, trying to move the spine as little as possible. Let's bring that right hand back down onto the right shoulder. Left knee comes down onto the left hip. Same thing on the other side. We're going to really root into our hands and knees. And then lift our left arm, reach it forward, straighten the right leg, reaching it back. You can keep the chin just a little bit tucked to keep the spine nice and long. Make sure that the right hip is on level with the left, so you might need to lift the right hip just a little bit if it feels like it's falling towards the right. Breathe deeply here. And then exhale, left hand comes under left shoulder, right knee comes under right hip. So you get the sort of general idea of that. Now we're going to make it dynamic. So when you're ready, we'll inhale, right arm, left leg up. Exhale, bring them down. Inhale, left arm, right leg up. Exhale, bring them down. Inhaling, right arm up, left leg up. Exhaling down, switching, inhaling, left arm up, right leg up. Exhale down, and we'll continue at our own pace. Inhaling long, exhaling, returning to table. Inhaling long, exhaling, returning to table. Next time your right leg comes out and your left leg comes up, you can either hold here for just a second, or you can bend the left knee, reach the right arm around, and grab the left foot. Not easy, but a balancing pose, nevertheless. Now you can either grab that left foot with your right fingers or that left ankle. Either way, just make sure the left knee is rising up. And when you're ready, we'll re-extend that right arm, left leg, and then bring them back down. Same thing on the other side. Left arm comes up, right leg comes out. We either hold here, or you can bend the right knee, reach for the right foot with the left hand, or reach for the right ankle. Finding the full expression of this posture. Breathing deep. And when you're ready, extending the right leg and the left arm. And then bringing the left hand down, right knee down. From here, let's sit back into child's pose. Well earned. So in child's pose here, my hips are coming as close to my heels as possible. My arms are way out in front of me, maybe even pushing the mat away from me to help me get my hips towards my heels. And if you want to rock a little bit side to side through the upper body, maybe letting the chest come over the knees side to side. Loosening up the low back. I just have one more thing on the front that I want to go over in that side plank. And because I will definitely lose my breath while talking about it, I'm going to have Brian talk us through it. There are a few options so you don't have to do stuff that seems like maybe it's really hard, because it is. So first, I'll come into regular plank. And then from here, I'm going to bring my toes to touch behind me and roll onto the side of my right foot. Then lift my left arm. So if this is not happening for you, you can take that left foot and step it behind you. That's one option. Or you can take that right knee and bend it beneath you. Probably the easiest option here.
And if you're here and you're like, oh, I got this, no problem at all. Try lifting that top leg.
Can you grab the
What?
top foot?
You're not gonna try.
Yeah, there's even further steps that you can take. It's not available to Anne and Brian today. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to regular plank. Knees come down again. Again, come down to child's pose. Let the hips rock side to side this time. So this time, my hips are kind of brushing back and forth by my heels. And then when we're ready, come back up through hands and knees. Again to plank. This time drawing the big toes to touch and rolling to the outside of the left foot, and either coming into this full plank here or bending the right knee, bringing the right toes behind you for support like this, or bending the left knee underneath of you like this. Whatever feels the best for you today.
And again, you have that option to float the top leg if you're feeling up for the challenge. Sweating.
And then this is a build of sweat class. Then when you're ready, right hand comes down, knees come down. One more child's pose here. If you have a blanket under your knees, you can remove it. And you can come down to the child's pose with your hands down by your feet. So instead of having my arms out in front of me like this, I'm just gonna slide them back, let my palms rest face up on either side of my feet here. If you want, you could even cup your fingers around your heels here and pull yourself into a little tight steed. Which is kind of a perfect metaphor for this season. All like little tight seeds waiting for the sun to come back so we can bloom. Or I guess germinate. And then if you do have your fingers wrapped around your heels, keep them there. If not, wrap your fingers around your heels. We're going to tuck our chin and just lift our hips a little bit for what's called rabbit posture. Not rabid posture. That's rabbit posture. And then when you're ready, we'll come back down. Take the hands to either side of the knees, push yourself up towards seated, let the hips come off towards one side or the other. Swing the legs out in front of you. Hands can go behind the back, and we'll just let the knees rock side to side, loosening up any tension in the low back.
Got time for some hip openers.
Yes, I think so.
Or core strengtheners. What you want?
Let's start with core strengtheners. So let's come all the way down onto our backs. And everybody keep your knees bent. Push into your feet a little bit and take your palms face down under the hips. So now when I let my hips come back down towards the mat, my hips are actually resting on the back of my hands beneath me. From here, I'm going to straighten out both legs. And it's up to you. You can either do one leg at a time, inhaling the leg up, exhaling the leg down, or you can do both for our leg lifts, inhaling legs up, exhaling legs down. If it feels awkward having the hands under the hips here, feel free to take the hands out and just rest them at your side. But I do recommend a little something under the hips here to protect the low back. You could always put that folded up blanket under the hips as well. That's another option. So inhaling up, exhaling down. We'll just do a few more of these. No need to keep count. The fact that you're doing them is enough. And if you're a fiery type like me, keeping count can sometimes be a little bit of a self-sabotaging thing. So don't even bother keeping count. Just inhaling, legs up, or leg up, exhaling, legs down. Next time legs come down, let's bend the knees, take the soles of the feet to the mat, knees pointing straight up. Let's take the arms out into a T, and then just gently let the knees rock side to side again, releasing tension in the low back. The strength of the core or abdominal muscles is important in general just for your health, but also in yogic tradition for keeping the digestive fire strong. You want the hottest part of your body to be the belly, where we digest all of our food completely and efficiently. So when you're ready, we're going to build that digestive fire just a little bit more. Knees can come back up. And it's up to you. You can either keep your head down for this, or you can interlace the fingers of both hands, make a little hand basket, and put it below the head, lifting the head just, a couple inches off the ground. But really use the upper abdominal muscles to lift the head, not so much the neck or the hands here. And we're just going to bicycle a little bit. So pedaling one foot forward and then the other. And then you can either stay here doing this with head up or down, or we can incorporate a twist for the oblique muscles on either side of the abdomen. So when the left knee comes towards you, the right elbow comes towards the left knee. And then when the right knee comes towards you, the left elbow comes towards the right knee. So we're just going back and forth like this. The spine is resting on the ground here or on a blanket. And we're just pedaling and twisting. Don't forget to breathe. That's the important part.
Mm-hmm.
All right, when you're ready, come back to stillness, soles of the feet on the ground, knees pointing straight up at the ceiling.
Now we're going to take the left leg and bring it across the right knee, just above the right knee like this. This is called figure 4. You can hang out here, letting this opening happen. If you want a little extra, you can grab underneath of the right leg, bringing the right leg towards the body.
So we'll lift the right foot off the ground here.
You want to be energetically moving that left knee away from the body. And feel free to keep all of the feet flexed here.
All
All 2 of them. And if you still got a little extra, you can even grab around outside of the leg, the right leg. We just really want to feel that opening. Really work on pushing that left knee away from the body. We want this to feel this hip stretch in the left hip here. And then you can release that, bring the feet back to the earth. Once again, maybe a little quick knees side to side before we flip that figure 4 to the other leg. So this time We take the right leg across the left leg, hanging out either here, or you can grab underneath of the left thigh and bring that left thigh towards the body, bringing that left foot off the ground. If you have even more, grab the outside of the left leg. Whatever's working for you at this time, energetically working on moving that right knee away from the body. You can even bring your hand to the meaty part of the thigh here and kind of push it a little bit. Should gently push it. Or just push it on its own, right? Feel that.
Or forcefully push it.
No forceful
With
anything.
pain.
No forceful anything in yoga.
No pain.
No pain.
No seeking of pain, only seeking of comfort.
They say no pain, no gain, but no pain, no injury. That's what I say.
Oh no. All right, and when we're ready, let's unwind again, take the arms out into a T again, let the knees rock side to side. I want to do one thing to stretch out the abdominal muscles as well as building some strength in the low back, and that is good old-fashioned bridge posture. So for some of us, you might have your knees bent so much that you can touch the tips of your fingers to your heels on either side of your hips. But if you have a long torso like me, you might want to slide the feet out just as long as the ankles are right under the knees. So ready for my little Zoom video, I can look at it and be sure of this. From here, I'm going to inhale my hips up. And once I'm up here, I'm almost tucking my shoulder blades under my body. An important thing that I should note is if your knees feel like they're splitting open to the side, bring them parallel. That might even help for you to turn the heels out a little bit. So you're a little bit pigeon-toed here so that the knees are staying parallel to each other. From here, we're going to interlace the fingers underneath of the back, really lifting through the hips. If you need to come down and then come back up, that's totally fine. We'll be here just another few breaths. As you inhale, you might see your belly in front of you rising up. As you exhale, you might see it falling down a little bit. Inhaling, belly rises up, lifting through those hips. Feeling this in the glutes and the back of the thighs. Exhale, belly's coming down. And then inhale one more time. Separate the hands out from under you, bringing them to either side of the hips. Exhale, roll down vertebra by vertebra so that the last thing to come down is your tailbone. And then from here, let's draw the knees in towards the chest and just gently rock side to side. Releasing the low back after that very strengthening bridge. There's one more wonderful thing I want to throw in here before we have Shavasana. So this is what the folded up blanket was for. So take your folded up blanket and fold it as much as you need to get it pretty tall. You might even want to like roll it up like a burrito or something like that. And then from here, put it on your left side of your body. I'm gonna bend my right knee, laying on my back here, and then draw the right knee in towards the chest. And then out towards the right shoulder. Make a little open stretch here. And then from here, I'm going to keep my left hand around my right knee. I'm going to take my right arm all the way out to the right, straight out from my right shoulder. Oh, hello. And then making sure that this blanket is right next to me. I'm going to take that right knee all the way over to the left, maybe resting it on the blanket. You might even need to fold it extra just to rest it at a good height. So here I am in a reclined spinal twist. Ideally, both my shoulders are touching the ground here. My right hand is wrapping, or I'm sorry, my left hand is wrapping around the outside of my right thigh. If you find that your right shoulder is coming up a little bit off the ground, lift the upper back, lift the left shoulder, and then bring the right shoulder down, and then left shoulder down, and then look out over the right shoulder towards the right hand. So we'll hang out here in a recline spinal twist for just a minute. Breathing deep. If you want to release the left hand from the outside of the right leg, you can take it straight out from the left shoulder. Your arms are in the big letter T right now. And then when you're ready, we'll lift the right arm, following the right hand with your face so that it comes all the way over to the left. You're lying on your left side here. Just for a second. Hands are together. And then we'll come onto our backs. We'll take our folded up blanket, put it on the other side of our hips. Maybe let the hips rock side to side a little bit on the ground here. Skeletal shaking on the ground. This is possibly the safest way of doing skeletal shaking. Okay, laying on the ground and wiggling. And then when you're ready, we'll bend the left knee and interlace the fingers of both hands around the front of the left knee, drawing it in towards the center of the chest to begin with. Breathing deep. Pawan Tanasana, which translates from Sanskrit to wind relieving pose. And then when you're ready, we'll take the left knee towards the left shoulder. So just gently opening through the left hip, just a little bit here. And then from here, we'll release the left arm, take it straight out from the left shoulder. My right hand is still around the front of my left knee. And I'm going to draw my left knee all the way to the right, maybe even double folding my blanket enough that my left knee can rest on the blanket. My right hand is still around the outside of my left knee. My left arm is straight out from my left shoulder. If you're finding that your left shoulder is coming up a little bit off the ground, lift the upper chest, lift the right shoulder, bring the left shoulder down, then let the right shoulder come down. Very subtle movement. It makes a world of difference. And then you can look out over your left shoulder towards your left hand. And then if you want to release your right hand from the outside of your left knee, you can take it straight out from the right shoulder. So your arms are in a big letter T right now. And when you're ready, we'll lift the right arm, following it with our face. We'll fold the left arm. We'll bring it all the way over to the right. Laying on our right side for just a second with our left knee bent and supported by the blanket. And then when you're done with that, feel free to come back onto your back. If there's any other movements you want to grab before Shavasana, feel free. I know that we said we were going to do some hip openers and then we ran out of time again. As the case often is. So if you wish to start your Shavasana with the soles of the feet touching and the knees laying out to either side, that's fine. You could even support under the knees with a couple folded up blankets or blocks or books or whatever you have. Or you can have the legs just all the way down on that in traditional Shavasana posture. Hands rest by your hips, palm face up. If you're wearing glasses, feel free to take them off, put them somewhere safely to the side where you know you're not going to roll over on them. And whether knees are bent and soles of feet are touching, or knees are straight and soles of feet are at each corner of the mat, allow your breathing to become loose, relaxed, maybe shallow. That's fine. This is your posture to let it all sink in. Your knees are bent. Feel free to straighten them one by one, the corners of the mat.
When you're ready, you can start to bring your awareness back to your body, back to your breathing, and deepen the breath. You can start to move the toes and the fingers. You can move the wrists and the ankles. Feel free to turn the head side to side. So we're going to get really long on the mat. Bring the feet together. Press out through the heels. Let's take the fingers, interlace them, send the palms away from the crown of your head towards the wall behind you. Inhale and stretch really long. Press out through the heels, press out through the palms. And then on an exhale, we're going to bring the knees into the chest. Hug everything in. If you want to do a little bit of rocking while you're here, you can. Eventually, we'll work our way up to seated. If you want to do it gently, you can rock off to one side and gently push yourself up. If you want to be all gung-ho about it, you can rock right up.
Let's be gung-ho about sitting up on a blanket.
Okay.
As well.
And we're going to sit up on the blanket. Come to a nice seated position. Let's do a couple of rounds of Prana Mudra just to sort of seal our practice in. So taking the arms out to the side, we're going to inhale, reaching up. Exhale, pressing down. Again, reaching up, inhaling. Exhale, pressing down. Last time, we're going to reach up, let the palms touch. This time, exhale, palms to heart center. And if you care to join us in making the sound Om, feel free. We're going to take a deep inhale. Om. Thank you for practicing with us today. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.
Namaste. Great job, everyone. You did. You got through another yoga class. And so did we. Thank you.